Hello, me again, Dr. T. Reginald Towns with Coach Ed. I am doing back to back, kind of the college prep 90-day challenge, not challenge, 90-day college preparation guide for students with IEPs or 504. It's very similar to what I just did in the countdown. And in fact, in this particular case, both are needed. To take a look at the countdown, what I just gave you 5 things you must do. But I want to give some special attention to our students who have been successful um, throughout the 12 years. And some um, were, it was a good find that your child may have the need of some accommodations. Um, uh, I know that's a touchy subject. Um, uh, it's an area in my career that I have grown to learn a lot. I learned a lot of my time being an advisor or in that particular department. I think this may be the only time I was so close with the parents that it was a relationship that I became either papa, grandpa, uncle, and that's great. That's fine. That shows me that there's a level of trust. So today I want to spend a few minutes to talk about here again the 90-day college preparation guide for students with IEPs or 504. Uh, if you come across this and you know a family that um, have gone through this with their child, they had accommodations while they were in high school for this. This can be physical, this can be cognitive, this can be um, emotional, it can be a wide range. This past year, we worked with students who had emotional dogs, and I think ever since COVID, there's been a lot of that, understandably. And we work very closely with our counseling department. We work very closely with the housing. We work very closely with admissions to make this work for some people. And I'm going to dedicate another session to that because that does deal with quite a few documentations and quite a few um, partners at the table, I would say. So let me get through this, and this is what I'm needing for you to do this week. Um, week one, and I'm gonna do this. I'll really. It's gonna take about 3 months. Now, this is give or take. To me, this is day one, and then by the time we get to the end of August, there will be students should be well into the schools, moved in. I know my school, Tennessee, that we didn't start until September. So give or take a week or two, I think we're still within that framework to get this information to you. That and you, it will. I'm quite sure that this will take a lot of angst, a lot of nervousness away from you that you've prepared. And it has bothered me in the past that parents don't prepare for that day. You go for the next 3 months. You're just excited. You're excited about what you're going to turn this vacant room into. You're going to turn it to your office. You're going to turn it to a sewing room. You're going to your prayer room, whatever you're going to turn it into. But guess what? They come home Thanksgiving, and what are you going to do then? But there's a lot of excitement on both ends. But in this particular case, I want to pay a lot of attention over the next 90 days to make sure that my students who have an IEP or 504, they are also, along with the parent, uh, prepared for this journey, this venture. So first, let's start with you must have current copies of the IEP or the 504 plan. Now, this plan, also could include some psychological evaluations or some diagnosis from physicians. Bring all you have copies. Make sure you have copies. Now, there must be, and I would advise that if your child, this new coming college student, if they haven't already contacted the disability or accessibility office, do it. Do it now. Uh, there's a lot of things that need to be worked out. Not only do you need to figure things out, so will the staff. Uh, Namely, how what are the accommodations that we can reasonably accommodate? Let me give an example. If yeah, let's say the freshman class is just full. Every dorm is full. Every bed is full. And you may have a student with an emotional dog or an emotional animal. And I know the university I worked at, in order for that to happen, if there was either one or three additional roommates, all room all roommates would or should or could or should agree to this animal being in the room for two or this area for three or four. If one has an allergy, then we need to find another place that we can do this. Um, but it can be really interesting if all beds are full. The whole campus has 500, 600, 1,000, 3,000 freshmen coming in, and there's not a private room on campus. Some reserve those areas for this very purpose. So the first thing is make sure you have good current copies of the IEP, the 504 plan, and anything that you have gotten from a physician you worked with, or a diagnosis from, or evaluations from these doctors include as part of the packet. Ensure the document is recent. I think the last 3 years would be a good starting point. Um, no need to go back any further and dig up everything from the ninth grade. Just the last, well, that would include the ninth grade, and from the ninth grade up. Ensure these documentations are within that time frame. Also, learn the difference between the rights of a K-12 student with an IEP or 504 and a college student. It goes from a K-12 idea, and that's an acronym, versus a college where it becomes a ADA or a Section 504. The biggest difference is one, student is now a parent, and they have a lot of say so as to who gets this information. Keep in mind, this information is very private. It is very private, and the universities treat it that way. It's a very limited number of people who have this information, and really the main ones are the instructors. So they will know this particular person, this particular student has a 504, and they're going to need extended time, or they're going to need a separate setting, and they need to also the student needs to make sure that there's a level of communication that this is understood. Whenever there's an exam, midterms, finals, or whatever, quizzes, whatever, they are entitled by federal law to have the accommodations they were afforded in high school, if it's reasonable for the university to do. And you need to find that out. And when you talk to that particular person, this particular person will work out of the disability services department or the accessibility. And here again, this is time for you to research the information and call. This may need to be a joint call. I know when I've had discussions, um, it depends on the parent. It may get heavy, just me and the parent having this discussion. But my mind is I want to meet the student. I want to meet the student. I want them also to hear what we plan to do. And we includes the parents, myself, and the student. So take the time this week to make sure you contact the accessibility department or disability services at the university that your child is going to. And the fourth one, this is the fifth one. Fifth one is schedule a meeting, schedule a Zoom, schedule a team, schedule something so that there can be a meeting of the minds, that the parents and the students are meeting this particular person who's going to, one, make sure that the university, the instructors are well aware of this disability and well aware of the expected accommodations. And there needs to be a level of self-disclosure. I probably would receive this meeting, this Zoom call, this Teams meeting as self-disclosure. From there, needs to be an exchange either by mail, loading this information up to be part of part of an email to get this information over to the university so they can start working on it. And the larger the school, the more students that they will need to deal with. And then ask for any accommodations or requirements that the university may have. I know we had a packet. We wanted to make sure that it was well understood that we took this seriously, and that we treat this as confidential as possible. All information are on the lock and key. So if there's anything that the university would like for you to fill out as a parent and a student, ask for that information, ask it to be sent to you, and also ask when you need to buy. Do not, I would not wait till I wouldn't wait until you take the child to campus, because it's going to be maybe a week and a half before classes start. And the larger the school, the more time that this particular department would need time to get these accommodations out to the instructors. So here again, just to recap, make sure you have copies of the IEP, the 504. Make sure they are within the last 3 years. Make sure that you understand the difference between what your student dealt with or was exposed to in the way of accommodations in high school versus college. Now, in our language, we ask that we consider what's reasonable. If it's not reasonable, then we need to talk. We need to find a way to make it happen. Make sure you take the time to research the Disabilities Services Office or the Accessibility Office or Department. Make sure that you know who these people are, who's going to be sending this very confidential information to a select few people. Number one would be the instructors, and two would be the academic advisors. I think you can stop there probably. And then you schedule a meeting with these people. You schedule a team. You schedule a Zoom, whatever you use, and do that so that can be a meeting of the minds that in the form. This is self-disclosure. My name is Reginald Towns. I have an IEP, and I like to use my accommodations at XY University. That way, is out there, and the expectations on both ends. The student and the family expect these accommodations to be adhered to, and the university has committed and agreed that we can do these things. We had one young man who had a hearing disability, but he also played football, very good football player. And he was the only student that most times we just do with the learning disabilities, but a physical disability we would have from time to time. We had to hire a sign language person, contact with sign language person as part of his accommodations, and it worked out very, very well. It was a great experience, and that shows me that it's not all just one. There are varying levels of this. So we did the best we could, and we were very successful at it. And then ask the university, what packets or accommodations, what do we need to sign? What do we need to take a look at so that we can better understand what your university will offer and what you will do to accommodate my child? So if you just stay with those things this week, I think you would have accomplished a lot. I'll be back with you next week, so we can spend another week on Another important aspect of this 90-day preparation to get your child to that university or college that you've been dreaming of for the last 12 years. All right, guys, this is Dr. T. I really appreciate it. Look, this particular program is really near and dear to me for many reasons, but it's an example of I'm going to do all I can to help as many people as I can for as long as I can, and I mean that. So have a good evening, and we'll be back with you again next week. If you have any questions of me regarding this aspect of your college journey of your student, please send me an email at coachedsolutions dot no coachedsolutions at gmail.com. All right, guys, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.